is time for the hot topic of the hour. Candidates hitting the campaign trail today. President Trump back in Michigan, while the Harris team will be in Savannah, Georgia. And that's where she'll sit down for her first media interview since Biden dropped out of the race now 40 days ago. Though she's been hounded for a solo appearance, she is sitting with CNN's Dana Bash right alongside her running mate, Tim Walz. This is where we're getting a sneak peek into what it's like to interview the vice president. The New York Times asked one of its reporters to describe the process from the 2 times she spoke with Kamala Harris, describing it as arduous. Quote, I was trying to sift through platitudes to try and find a specific vision of a story that she was telling about herself because it really wasn't clear. When she sat down, I asked her if she liked her job, and she said she did, but that she didn't like doing this. I thought she would want to tell a story on that front and was surprised that she did not. Mark Tepper, I don't know if we're going to get a lot of word salads tonight. Or if we're going to get blowing off questions, or if she'll be honest with the American people.
Well, you know, this is an interview on a friendly network with a friendly interviewer where they're going to be softball questions. She probably knows all these questions in advance, pre-recorded, and she still can't run this thing solo. She still needs a wingman, which is incredibly disappointing. I mean, when you are trying to secure the most important position in the world, and you're too cowardly to actually go out and do a one-on-one interview, that's a problem. But to your point about her word salads and stuff, that's probably why Tim Walz is there, to jump in and protect her in the event that she starts to use her exaggerated hand gestures and she starts to talk in circles and things like that. That's what he's there for, and it's incredibly disappointing.
Well, one of the most important things after tonight's interview will be to understand where the heck Kamala Harris is on the major issues. I mean, it's all the flip-flopping going on. I want a ban on fracking. No. The aide says she doesn't want a ban on fracking. I want Medicare for all. No. The aide says no, she doesn't want that. We've got new Fox News polls showing a near dead heat between President Trump and Vice President Harris in the Sun Belt states. Harris edging out Trump by 1 point in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada. Trump up by 1 point in North Carolina. Over all those battleground states, Harris is still up on Trump, 50-49. Amazingly, even though nobody knows where she stands on these issues, voters there still think President Trump, however, will do a better job on the issues most important to voters. That includes immigration, border security, and the economy. Harris beats Trump on health care and abortion. Todd Piro, your reaction?
My reaction is you are not going to convince the Democrats to vote for Trump based upon the issues. They don't care about the issues. They want Kamala Harris because of all the touchy-feely reasons that we've articulated multiple times. So you need to get the independents, and that's why tonight's interview and obviously the debate even more so are the key factors, because you have to translate that edge that Trump has on immigration and the economy into votes. And right now, if you look at this, Trump is losing in 3 states that he was winning a month ago. I understand polls are polls and they change throughout the course of this process, but I don't know about you. I would rather be winning than losing. And I understand Trump overperforms the polls when the actual election happens. That's the reality. But I still want to be winning. You need to translate those independents, and that's why forcing her on the issues needs to be priority number 1 for the Trump campaign. I don't know if it happens tonight. We just don't know if it's going to be issues or hope and joy.
That's why the Trump campaign came out with questions that they think Dana Bash should be asking. And they have a whole list of questions about many of her flip-flops. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the American dream is feeling out of reach for many people. And that is according to a new Wall Street Journal NORC poll. 89% of those respondents say that owning a home is essential to their livelihood, but only 10% say it's easy to achieve. Financial security and a comfortable retirement at the top of the essentials list. But again, less than 10% think that they can have that. When it comes to the American dream, only 34% say it's still real. 49% say it no longer exists. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough 4 years, and if we kind of just run through the math, the median household income is $75 grand. That's a little more than $6,000 a month. Now let's go through the expenses. Average mortgage payment, $2,500 a month. Average cost for a car with gas and auto insurance built in as well, $1,000 a month. Groceries, $1,000 a month. Utilities, $500 a month. Childcare, $1,500 a month. We're above that $6,000 bogey already. So this is why we've got $1.1 trillion in credit card debt.
Yeah.
This is why you see people in grocery stores using buy now, pay later to put food on the table.
Yep.
This is what you have to rob Peter to pay Paul just to make ends meet.
And it's an incredibly disingenuous to start talking about inflation out of control and blaming corporations and price gouging and not once mentioning $7 trillion in spending by the Democrats, Todd Piro.
Yeah, it's not the supermarkets. I know in my area, New England, they're closing Stop and Shops left and right.
Wow.
They wouldn't be doing that if those stores were making money. So
Yeah,
it's
good point.
not about that. My problem is I bought my house in 2020. I got lucky in terms of my timing. If I tried to buy my house today with the same salary, I would not be able to afford my house, combined with the child care and all that. Your American dream should not be based solely around luck.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Well, the payments would be much higher because of the 7% mortgage rate right now. And that's also an issue, the level of rates. We're just getting started this morning. A lot to come. Stay with us.